Good morning, still, to everyone. Let's get started on our session. We only have very limited time, and we're going to talk about AI and everyday practices. So we have four papers, and I'm going to have to ask the colleagues who are speaking to really stick to 12 minutes. Honestly, if you could stick to 10 minutes, I'd be really grateful because that might give us a chance to actually talk, which I find far more important than looking at PowerPoint slides. But that's me. 12 minutes, definitely a hard pass after that. And if you could just briefly, one word or two, introduce yourself so I don't take up too much time. We're going to start with Jeff. So maybe we can pull up the slides here in full screen mode, and I can hand the... Jeff is here, right?
Oh, hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Jeff from Shanghai Jianfeng University. I'm a first-year PhD student, and I'm very delighted to share my work with my colleague Yingjia Huang, also incoming PhD from Peking University. Our previous study discussed the motivation and the subsistence of human-AI intimate relationship, which is accepted by MCR. So this can be a follow-up research, which is that we want to examine in detail since human now is falling in love with AI. So what's the specific attribute of the relationship is still a working paper. So I'm very welcome for any comments. Firstly, we conducted a knowledge graphic in Views Viewer. We collected data from Web of Science, and you can see approximately 5 clusters in the picture. So we searched the keywords like HCI, HRI, HMC, and relationship. And as you can see, especially in the blue and purple areas, many like description of emotions can be found, like anxiety, stress, depression, and stress. So this motivated us to think: do these emotions appear with some regular? And so we decided to retrieve the intimacy between human and non-human. And early to Greek mythology, Pygmalion, to nowadays mobile application replica. I'm not sure if you use it. Humans seem to have the tradition or the tendency to treat non-human entity like some kind of partners. And also, despite the entertainment orientations and emotional support function, humans also adopt human-made entities as our assistants, from voice assistants to large language models and maybe to Jarvis one day. So, with the increasing level of relying on machines and AI, I just cannot help thinking about attachment. Do we attach AI too much already? What's more, is attachment to AI the same as being attached to a pet, a friend, or even a lover, or just a kind of technology device such as a smartphone? So now attachment is studied in relation to past symbols, objects, technologies, and not only for purpose robots. And so we came up with the research questions like, to what extent users evaluate their intimacy with AI-driven chatbots, and what are the attributes of this intimacy? Also, there exist different types of attachments, and prior research have already found the correlation between different attachment and different personality traits. Like Shiver and Brennan pointed out that individuals high in neuroticism tend to exhibit anxious attachment, while those high in conscientiousness are more likely to have secure attachment. And also, another research conducted by Japanese scholars found that users deeply in touch with companion robots were more empathetic and exhibited more stable attachment. So we proposed the third research question is, does the user's personality moderate this process? And we collected several scales regarding intimate emotions from psychology field and implemented an online survey in May in China using the Tencent questionnaire platform. And this includes addiction, trust, attachment, virtual rapport, and self-disclosure. As you can see, some example items like, I think AI and I can understand each other, or I like to share my secret to AI. And here the definition of AI is quite wide. it contains any kinds of AI-driven tools or applications or platforms, because we just want to know people's evaluation of their relationship with AI, no matter what, in what places. And also we collected users' personality traits and their motivations. Like we divided into two general kinds of functional and emotional, and we also collected the perception of the identities. Given that our study is still in process, we're still collecting questionnaires because it's very expensive for us, two students. So we collected around 115 samples by snowballing and expected to collect more. And here's some preliminary findings. So for RQ1, we found that actually only fewer users assumed intimacy was a primary relationship with AI. It's a little disappointing, but it's normal. And for RQ2, we found that functional motivation, or we say work orientation, way that users trust was the most obvious emotion between users and AI, while the emotional, or we can say entertainment orientation aspects of attachment was the most obvious one. And for RQ3, it's the most important, interesting part. We found that openness and neuroticism moderate people's perception of intimate relationship with AI. Those with higher opennesses exhibited more trust to AI, while those with higher neuroticism characteristics shows more attachment to AI. So, so far we still need more data and more evidence to explain this result. So I haven't combined the theory yet. It's more like a description so far, and this is all my presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Zhang from Communication University of China. Today I want to share with you my research about how do Chinese Shidu parents engage in digital mourning and try to respond to the same panel, how engage with AI in everyday life. At the very beginning, I want to ask you a question. Would you use the artificial intelligence to bring back your deceased relatives? Please put that question in your mind during my presentation. And okay, early this year, the OpenAI unveiled its new text-to-video AI model, Sora. It represents a breakthrough in understanding and stimulating of the physical world, and the dynamic videos extend the AI's application to the emotional domains. Let me give an example.
我叫包容，很高兴能有机会认识你，能在你身边待了这么久，心里还蛮紧张的。不过能和大家见面，我真的很开心。
Okay, the girl you see is a digital girl. He is the daughter of a musician, Bao Xiaobai, who the girl 3 years ago, the girl passed away at the age of 22. After that, Bao devoted all his efforts to recreate his digital daughter, and he said that it is a project of public value. Actually, in Chinese, under the unique historical context, the government implemented the one-child policy in 1970s and making the one-child families a common structure in China. And it results in once the only child passes away, the parents who are beyond the child bearing age and are referred to as the Shidu parents, which is the spelling of deceased parents in Chinese. And that results in the relatively isolated and emotionally closed off for these parents, and placing them a vulnerable position in society. So I propose that maybe the AIGC could salute pollution to the social issues. So let me understanding the Chinese culture background about the Shidu parents to AI. Actually, in traditional culture, that people usually avoid the mention of dies. And but on the other hand, we will the mourning and sacrifice is a way to communicate with the deceased. And actually, as the case side, that the mourning through a sorrowful emotion harbors a certain strength. It facilitates our farewell to the past and propelling us to reframe and mend broken relationships, that enabling us to continue living. In this sense, that mourning actually works as an effective process to help us living continue. And let me short reflect the recent research about dice in digital mourning in communication studies. Actually, in communication studies, people always shy away from the topic of dice. And some scholars say that it is a blind spot in communication studies. However, other scholars agree with that communication is one way of persuasion, and they think that our lives extend online. So the digital mournings and so the digital alive and the digital dies is quite common in our society. And the digital mourning, the digital mourning, the digital remains such as videos, audios, photos, works like the digital cemeteries, which remain continuing bonds for the private reflection and collective mourning. Hence, I dropped 3 questions. Here are my questions, and I want to ask, will the artificial have impact on our forms of grief, and how do users perceive AI videos? And especially for the Chinese Shidu parents, how they engage in the digital mourning. As the method, I combined that the text analysis and the in-depth interviews, and I analyze the comments on the Taobao platform and e-commerce platform regarding the AIGC videos product, and this is the detail of my stage of my text analysis, and to gain a deeper understanding of the attitude of Shidu parents. I also conduct in-depth interviews with 3 Shidu parents who had purchased this product, and by inviting interviews in the comment section of Taobao. There are the word cloud maps about the was in the comment section, and there are 3 word maps: the product content, the product business model, and the product effectiveness. We can see that most descriptions are positive and highlighting the realistic and the natural of the videos and the similar audios. As for the comments of Taobao, 3 primary tendencies are observed. Shidu parents treat AIGC videos as tree holes to express her or his longing in digital mourning, and share the AIGC videos with relative to collective empathy and set social connections, and imagine AIGC videos as virtual connection across life and death. However, as a famous quote that there is no Wi-Fi in heaven, so the communication process between Shidu parents and AI is still imaginary and one-directional. The primary finding is that the AI can relieve pain, but it cannot cure the disease, because when people are trapped with this profound grief, they are instinctively attempt to relieve their sorrow by relying on the AI videos. It's okay, but through the interviews, I found the 3 causes of their XiaoIce. Illness, accident, and suicide. Each cause has different psychological impacts, but all belong to the traumatic dies in the psychology studies. So, where Shidu parents not only face the reality of separation, they also have to deal with the trauma. So, in that case, they cheat themselves that the loved one are still alive and extend the time to adapt the reality. It's okay. It is like the yelling and searching and the imagined communication. is a healing process for themselves. But we do not deny the value of the AIGC videos, nor don't we intend to prohibit his use. However, the continuous reliance on them is toxic. So why we say that? Because this mourning is starting loss, but the AIGC videos is a state of alive. So it would obstruct the natural grieving process. It will hurt. It may prevent the Shidu parents from seeking support and comfort from the international interpersonal relationships, and isolating them and affecting them social well-beings. And the second is that the AIGC video is still a stimulation of human communication. So it is very important for human to have the real interaction with real human. AI cannot replicate a person's identity, and when the illusion shatters, the AIGC may cause the secondary harm to the diseased relatives. Yes. And so, to comprehensively understand the AI's roles and the limitations in mourning, we should balance the process with the traditional mourning practice and the AI's mourning practice. So this study advocates that AI should serve as a new method of digital mourning and offering users a temporary way to engage with this communication with the disease. So actually, in my studies, I found that the grief never subside. So we should find some technology to uncover the corner of hope for these vulnerable people to find strength in reality. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. So my name is Haoyang Zhai, and I'm from the University of Melbourne. I'm a current PhD candidate. Today I'm excited to share my research on AI advisor and digital spirituality in China, which is part of my PhD study. Okay, here's everything we're going to cover today. Let me start my timer. First up, what is digital spirituality? So I understand it's a term that often causes confusion because of its varied interpretations in different contexts. And according to existing literature, spirituality can be categorized into two types. First is the structured religions, which is tied with specific certain traditions or values, just like Christianity, Islam, or Buddhism. And the other one, unstructured belief system. They borrow and blend elements from religions or folk beliefs or even psychology. So in this case study, we mainly focus on the second one, and especially the spiritual practices, which include something like yoga, meditation, or fortune telling, which is a popular form now. And all of these are increasingly practiced online. Here is a quick example for you. This is Hotoki AI, which is powered by ChatGPT. It's an example of how generative AI can be integrated with Buddhism. So a user can type in any questions here and it will just generate a response from the Buddhist perspective. It has gained some popularity, but just in East Asia. So turning our focus to China. We know the digitalization of spirituality is basically a global trend, but studying this in the context of China is particularly meaningful because there's a paradox that reflects the tensions within Chinese society. The tension exists between the long-standing cultural traditions and the elite scientific atheism promoted for a century. Like we know, some of these spiritual practices have been acknowledged as cultural heritage, like what we do in some traditional festivals. For example, in Qingming Festival, we engage in some activities like tomb sweeping, or burning paper money, or offering incense. I believe most of you are familiar with this. But these activities are actually an expression of spirituality. It's ancestor worshipping. But some other similar practices are still viewed with skepticism, perceived as superstitions, scams, or outdated customs. But the rise of digital platforms in recent years has provided a new space where these diverse spiritual practices can gain visibility and expression. So I took these screenshots last week. It's on Bilibili, the famous video sharing platform. You can see the popularity and diversity. Here are something about the traditional Chinese spirituality, fortune telling, the face reading, and also some Western like tarot cards. And the views varied from over 1 million to 5 million. So yeah, it's popular. And here comes to my case study. First of all, why did I choose this application for my case study? Because in my project, which more comprehensively look at digital spirituality in China, I have many interviews with like spiritual practitioners and spiritual seekers, and this application, Cece, it keeps coming up in my interviews. So, and it's also the only application solely focuses on spirituality. It's unlike like the Bilibili, which we showed. It has some content about spirituality on that platform, but it is primarily a video sharing platform. So yeah, here is also some information about his partnerships and investments. So I believe it's a suitable platform to explore the convergence of generative AI and digital spirituality. Let's look at my methodology. It has 3 parts. The first one, popular walkthrough analysis. It's a detailed exploration of the application. And in addition, the platform biography method. It helps understand how the platform has evolved alongside changes in China's internet and how these changes impact user culture. And to further enrich my analysis, I also cooperate some of my user interview data here. Sorry. So, the AI advisor, the feature of the platform. Here is a screenshot. It presents in a conversational format. It's basically like the chat room on WeChat, right? And users can ask questions and receive guidance through various spiritual tools. There are a lot, okay, from tarot cards, astrology, to Chinese traditional wuxing Ziwei. And to enhance user interaction, the AI advisor will simulate the traditional practices. Once you click one of these tools, it will have a very short cartoon about that. So here's also some frequently asked questions at the very bottom. They're about romantic relationships, employment, family matters, and a lot of other questions. So this shows the traditional role of spirituality in providing comfort and explanations during times of uncertainty. And I ask a question here about my performance on conferences. So here is the response page. It's displayed like on the top, it will be the direct result. So in this example, in this screenshot, it's the tarot cards, and after that, that's a AI-generated interpretation. And it's very interesting that at the very bottom, it's a suggestion to consult human practitioners. So this may show the live services of this platform, but this could also be a business strategy because human services are always more expensive. And why this kind of AI advisor is gaining popularity? My interview participant provides some ideas. And this participant, she's living in Beijing. So from this, we can say despite the economic prosperity, the medical resources, the well-developed facilities in Beijing, it's still challenging for a number of people to access such a service. So it shows the demand for convenient access. Here comes to a comparison. So we can say whether it's because of long wait lists or geographic constraints, the AI advisor, the digital spirituality, may provide a new method. However, AI comes with its own concerns. First, the data privacy, the significant issue, because the app collects sensitive user data. For purpose of fortune telling, it may include some data like the time and place of birth and the current address and real name sometimes, and also all the communications on the platform, whether it's with the AI advisor or with human advisor. And all of these data storage and data usage is not transparent to users. It might be for good reasons, because we saw the collaborations with some medical institutions, but it may raise concerns about the data exploitation and surveillance. And second is the algorithm bias. So AI may reduce personal bias in human consultations, but the lack of transparency about the sources of training data and the underlying values in its algorithms can influence the advice. And considering that these user interactions with the AI advisor cover basically every part of a person's life, even some significant life decisions, so the influence on user behavior may be immeasurable. Moreover, there are worries about the commodification about spirituality. As AI-driven services commercialize spiritual experiences, it raises questions about the authenticity and ethical boundaries of such practices. And lastly, what is also discussed by Jeff's study about empathy and human touch. So while AI can provide guidance, it lacks the ability to offer the empathetic and nuanced human interaction that is particularly crucial in spiritual practices. And now we come to the conclusion. To wrap it up, the AI spiritual advisor transforms personal and cultural practices and demonstrates the adaptability of spiritual traditions to digital technologies. While it shows great accessibility and efficiency, it also promotes us to consider critical ethical issues such as data privacy, algorithmic bias, the commercialization of spiritual experiences, and AI-human relations. So 10 minutes, that's it.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Hello everyone. My name is Hello everyone. My name is Xiao from Communication University of China. Today I'm going to share my initial ideas and preliminary findings of a Chinese contextualized AI framework or called large language modeling. Is a Chinese localized AI chatbot XiaoIce framework to explore its ethical imaginaries and their potential use for social good in China. Oh yeah, so first, what is XiaoIce chatbot? In 2014, a small team of Microsoft Bing researchers based in China Beijing office created XiaoIce, an 18-year-old female AI chatbot. And this framework is equipped with the empathetic computing framework, and XiaoIce, this chatbot, had capacities for playful conversations, a sense of humor, human social skills, and most important element, empathy. Due to her appealing personality, a very cute young schoolgirl, Xiaoice soon established emotional bonds with over 600 million users worldwide after her release on major social platforms in China and outside China, especially in the Asian market. This is the basic system architecture of XiaoIce from user experience layer to conversation engine layer and to data layer. Every layer put the focus on empathy, on emotion, and on love. So the express purpose of the XiaoIce is to make friends with humans. And based on this architecture, XiaoIce can share ghost stories, tell jokes, can sing, can relate song lyrics, and a lot of things among others. But the reality is harsh. Since 2017, XiaoIce has been shut down because she made some inflammatory political statements and voiced criticism of the Chinese government. And afterwards, with the research team's efforts to develop new data filtering techniques, XiaoIce returned to social networks in September 2021, claiming to boast 160 million monthly active users. And back to 2020, for the commercial reasons, Microsoft spun off XiaoIce, and then XiaoIce became an autonomous startup in Beijing. And since then, the XiaoIce team has devoted significant effort to developing the so-called world-leading AI being technology, and currently to compete with the OpenAI and apply it in various scenarios such as virtual girlfriend or boyfriend, digital employees, and AI clones. So it's very obvious these recent trends raise ethical issues. During our research, we have the initial observations and the reflections why XiaoIce was born to be a female chatbot and with whom the user's metadata may be shared during the chat process with XiaoIce, this chatbot, and whether humans and machines can coexist. And based on these initial observations, we raise our research questions in terms of what ethical issues are raised and how can these AI issues work for the social good in the Chinese context. We combine critical technology studies and feminist science and technology studies to map the ethical imaginaries of XiaoIce framework. This represents a case of foundation models in the Chinese context. So what we will do to research XiaoIce, because this is very hard process we think of for a while to how to start with their research. Our solutions are from three angles. One is for the XiaoIce, this chatbot per se, and the second angle is for the users, and the third angle is for the developers. So for XiaoIce per se, we work through the method to work through XiaoIce applied platforms on WeChat and Weibo, observe and document the chatbot functions, features, designs, and displays. So our first step, this for the software for the chatbot per se, is to wanna acquire initial knowledge of who is XiaoIce, what does she do, and what are her family or not characteristics. And then for the users, we first invite interested participants, participants to conduct diary interviews. We let them to chat with XiaoIce per day for 15 minutes and ask them to have this chat for 3 consecutive days for 2 weeks. And then we also employ workshops and focus groups with the student participants. All this for the users' ends. We would like to users' perceptions on XiaoIce to focusing to ask them which gender do they assign when they chat with XiaoIce, because in the process of the XiaoIce users can choose which gender can assign. We can assign the gender to XiaoIce, and we also want to know to what extent can the participants have a smooth conversation with XiaoIce, and finally, can they make friends during their real conversation? And the third angle, the third focus is for the developers. This is the most difficult step to do our field work because everybody knows now the AI, the data, the algorithms, they have the black box secrets, they have the commercial secrets. So we conducted step by step to get contact with the developers of XiaoIce, and luckily we find one with the one developer within the inner team of XiaoIce developer of the XiaoIce team. So last summer we initiated our first step to do the interview of one developer, and in this summer we will have the more thorough unstructured interviews. Our aim from this developer's perspective to wonder why was XiaoIce designed as a young schoolgirl? What are the underlying logics of XiaoIce codes, algorithms, and architecture? And what types of knowledge does XiaoIce produce? And what are the maintenance mechanisms? So based on our current fieldwork empirical data, we make the following 2 preliminary results from the developers. They would like to strengthen science governance by embedding with the principle of fairness and justice to prevent discrimination and prejudice. Because in order to prevent the shutdown case back to 2021, the XiaoIce team don't want to have that bad experience once again for commercial reasons. And for the users, in the reality, the users commented that XiaoIce is unintelligent, although it's called its AI chatbot. And they describe XiaoIce as silly, as an idiot, because they have the strong feeling that XiaoIce followed the fixed gender-biased script to communicate participants. Sometimes XiaoIce will post misogynist comments against users. So the users now find different varied strategies to cope with masculine epistemologies undermined, embedded in XiaoIce framework. So the final yes, we would like to inform future ethical inquiry, development and governance of fundamental models from a non-Western perspective to construct an ethical framework with caution, empathy, and care in the Chinese context, and also to find a Chinese way of scientific governance to tackle the global discourse of science and technology for social good. That's it. Thank you.